we should be live. Oh wait, it's unlisted. Well, I guess those who can watch the video later can laugh at this. And I'm going live. Okay, we should be live. So let's go and boot up Yakuza 6. And today we should laugh quite a bit. We should be able to take care of Haruto. Oh, hello SWEGTA. Sure. Okay, 1 second. Let me set up everything. Okay. Okay, let's hope the audio doesn't die. Hello?
Hi.
Okay, 1 second, I have to increase Discord's volume.
Alright.
Can you keep saying stuff? Whatever.
Alright. Lorem ipsum, and that's about it. I forget the rest. But let's see what else. She sells by the shore. How
Okay.
much wood would a woodchuck chop if a woodchuck could chop wood?
Okay, that's good, that's good.
Yes! Alright, nice. So, what are you up to?
Nothing, I've been streaming for a little while. And I plan on playing Yakuza 6 for now. And then once I get used to streaming, maybe I can move on to bully.
Yeah, maybe then you'll move on to making bully content. Who knows?
Yeah, but I have a standard, so I don't want to do it now where I know the streams won't be great.
So whatever, it's trial and error. You gotta get some practice before you hit the big leagues.
Yeah, but that's why I play Yakuza 6. I like the game and I have stuff to do, so...
So, you're Italian, right?
Yeah.
That is really fucking sexy. So, what's it like in Italy right now?
In what context? I mean, it's just a normal country like the others.
I mean, like, in general, you know, COVID, society as a whole, the economy, socially, blah, 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 you know. Is it okay?
Oh, of course, of course. You got a lot of people who don't want to obey by the rules. So you got a lot of anti-masks, anti-vax. Especially in, like, the older generations. But it's okay, now everything is, you know, ending, so...
I'm kind of curious, like, do people in Italy have those, like, exaggerated hand movement arguments, or is that, like, an American stereotype?
Oh, I'm actually moving my hands right now as I'm talking.
Okay. There you go. Nice.
I mean, I find it
normal. I envied Italy for that. I've always, like, wanted Sweden to adopt the same thing. Because, like, people in Sweden, they're so timid, you know?
Oh, no, in Italy, it's actually the opposite. You find someone, and you already start talking casually in just the first conversation.
Okay, so, like, in Sweden, it's like somebody, you know, breaks a rule, and people are like, should we say something? In Italy, it's like, hey, fuck off! Stop that!
Oh, yeah.
Stop it! Yeah. That's fucking awesome, though. I like that. I feel like we should do the same thing, because, like, yeah, you know what I mean. So you're playing Yakuza 6?
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah, okay.
This is one of the later entries, so a lot of spoilers.
I've only played Yakuza 0, and that's like at the behest of a good friend of mine, Alan Smith from Bully.
Oh
And,
yeah, I think I know him. He's obsessed with Yakuza stuff, right?
Yeah. Fun fact, Alan is actually like a real person, not just a video game character. I don't know why, but I kept calling him Alan, and then it just became a meme, I guess.
Oh, you know the Mr. Smith? Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I built this town.
Yeah, of course.
So do you have like any Bully videos in the making? Any videos in the
Nah.
process?
I usually just make one when I have good content to make. Because as of late, I'm dedicating a lot of time to TCRF.
We gotta collab on some shit. I actually.
Yeah, I mean, sure, whatever.
Oh yeah. I mean, like, you gotta pick something you like truly enjoy and focus on that.
Yeah, and that's why.
Yeah, like I was saying, also like I actually have. I have some Bully content in the making. We could collaborate on that. I think that'd be fucking awesome.
Sure.
Yeah, because
I'm
I
always
know
open to
Deadpool's not gonna like lend his voice or anything.
Oh, well, me neither, to be honest, not with this setup.
Like, I think we do cool.
It's just that I have high standards, really.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So like, I'm not good enough. Huh?
Not in that way.
You gotta roll out the red carpet for Simon Bestia and Deadpool.
It's just that that's the main reason as to why my channel is inactive in the first place. I just don't feel like all the content I'm finding.
You're waiting for that like Spielberg invitation, right? Like that.
All the content I'm finding is good, but like it's too small.
Oh, because you're getting like invites from people with like 100k, not even k, like 100 subs, and they're like, "Hey, I'm making a Bully video, and it's made in like Windows Movie Maker and shit like that."
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
I get a lot of those.
If you like look back at my channel, my first videos are like made with Windows Movie Maker, and you know how the program is like it limits you to one video layer and one audio layer. Back then,
it does, yeah.
I would like try my absolute hardest at trying to fit everything together, and like try to have multiple recordings at once. It was a mess, but that's the main thing that made me eventually switch to Vegas and then eventually to Adobe Premiere. It's just wanting to improve all the time. It's just a thing of mine. I just have high standards.
Like, for me, like I kept seeing people on YouTube do shit that I was like outside of my realm of ability. And I was like, how do they do that? And they're like, oh, what video editing software do I use? Sony Vegas. And I was like, oh, that's ticket. And I got it through totally legal means. And from that point on, I kept using it. And I never switched. People around me, they're like, use Adobe, Plus or whatever. And I never did.
Me.
Yeah, like I tried using it, and I was like, the thing that like put me off is the fact that like you have to basically do like a mini render to preview the shit that you've done, and I was like, fuck that.
Well, no, you can preview in real time.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a bit harder to use, but honestly, I always feel like the harder a program, the better it will serve in the long run.
Yeah, but at the same time, I also feel like there's a lot of areas of Sony Vegas that a lot of people don't know about. Like, you could actually do like a lot of 3D animation with Sony Vegas, and it's never really explored. So there's, it has a lot of capabilities, especially since they keep updating. But a lot of people don't know about it. They stick to the basics and then just move on to like Adobe.
Yeah, because of the ecosystem. For example, if you want to do animations in your videos, you can import them from Adobe After Effects, I believe.
You could also do that. You could just like, switch between the two at your leisure and pick whatever fits best. But yeah, I mostly stick to Vegas because I feel like that's, what I know. And I'm like, yeah, whatever, learning's stupid, fuck that. I hate learning. I'll kill a teacher if I have to, fuck that.
I find it exciting to learn, that's why I switched.
Yeah, I guess. So, how far are you into this game, first off?
Okay, so in this playthrough we just started. It's a legend run, so it's just to get the latest achievements.
Got it.
So yeah, I've already played through it. And yeah, this is just basically bonus content, I guess.
Cool. So how's like the streaming going so far?
It's going well, I guess. Apparently, the audio's double, your voice, I mean. I think it's because of my microphone picking up your voice.
Fuck.
So, one second. Let me see if I can...
Error. Error.
Yeah, let's try. Let's say... Keep talking, let's say.
Keep on talking in the free world.
Let's see.
Blah-bitty blah, blah-bitty blue, blah-bitty blee, blah-bitty blah.
Okay. We're relying on, like, the information.
Right, I'm just gonna keep talking.
Yeah.
Hey, you're the new kid. Yeah, what's it to you? Friendly, aren't you? Are we good?
We're waiting for feedback.
Should I keep going?
Yeah. Use your lungs to their best.
Alright. Give me a break, loser. I can't do it.
Reading the entire bully script.
I actually have some really, I'm not gonna reveal it because I can't, but I have some really fucking useful shit that might be of your interest. So I'm gonna speak to somebody and get permission, and then once I get clearance on that, I'll talk to you. But yeah, I think we could use it to make a really fucking good collab.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Okay,
Perhaps.
Yeah, testing things in real time is just a pain. So, you don't have my full attention right now. If streaming were easy, you would.
Alright, so like, if I actually use this conversation in my video, you'll sue the fuck out of me. Alright, got it.
Let's wait until it's official and we sign an NDA and all that.
Yeah, it's gonna be like that, you know, basically, like, you know, when Rockstar have people sign NDAs, they should just, like, use the Weird Al Yankovic song, where it's like, I'll sue ya, I'll take all your money, I'll sue ya, if you even look at me funny. You know, they should just, like, have that be the terms of it. I feel like that'd be apropos. But yeah, they're hard asses on that, though. Like, if a person even vaguely hints at anything, they'll take him to court.
Okay. So what about you instead? Since you're also not quite active lately.
Oh, yeah. So I've been moving a lot. I moved from Borås to Stockholm, which is where I was born and raised. So I'm back in my old stomping grounds. I have a teeny tiny cabin to live in. I also have, you know, all the shit that I need, like my computer, my pooter, and all that. Yeah, just trying to, like, you know, get by, get back on my feet, get to the point where, like, I can make videos whenever the fuck I want to. Because, like, I live with 2 or 3 other people, depending on which week it is. So usually it's 2, sometimes it's 3. And because of that, I'm limited in, like, when I can record, when I can, you know, work on my videos and shit. But, you know, they're cool, they're supportive, they're nice. Also, my internet connection sucks asshole, so I can't really upload anything or stream without it going to total shit. But, yeah, we're working on getting some fiber, and as soon as that's done, whatever. Point being, I'm getting back on my feet, and as soon as I am, I'm gonna get back on YouTube and continue doing what I do. I don't know if it's gonna be for a living again, maybe not, but I'll get back eventually.
You can do it.
You can do it, yeah.
Because if you don't, then Nathan will have a monopoly on bully content.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I feel like, you know, for fucking like a decade now, I surpassed Nathan. And it's like, you know, I like Nathan. I think he's cool. I love his content. I respect him as a person. I've talked to him privately many times, especially, you know, since our falling out or whatever. He's like a really fucking cool person, and I respect the fuck out of him. But at the same time, my ego's like, don't fucking let him surpass you. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe I should get back to it. I don't know. It's all just numbers anyway. It's just like, you know how, like, you know, subscribers on YouTube, they used to matter. Nowadays, they really don't. They just don't.
But yeah, as more people just get bigger and milestones are broken, yeah.
Yeah, the thing that matters now is viewership retention rates, which is basically like how long a person watches a video of yours. Oh, do you have fucking Astolfo as your profile pic?
Which pic?
On Discord.
No, that's not
Fuck! Damn it, I was hoping. But yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, that's another cross-dresser character though.
It is?
Yeah.
I think technically though, Astolfo's non-binary. I've heard people say that, but I'm not sure.
He refers to himself as a male. But, you know, he's from an anime where sexual demands don't really matter. It's just his voice.
Sorry, you cut out.
Hmm?
You cut out. Can you repeat?
Okay, so basically, the show he's from, he doesn't even like mention sexuality or anything like that. So yeah.
Right.
It's just for looks, to be honest. And also he's some kind of over-exaggeration of a character who goes by the name Astolfo. And he's basically like an effeminate warrior. So the anime steps it up and straight up makes him a cross-dresser.
Yeah, it's like Rider or Black. By the way, that name, I always imagine, like maybe this is just me being kind of fucked up, but I always imagine in my head when I hear that term, I always like imagine him, like, or they, riding black dicks. I don't know why, because it's like Rider or Black, you know?
Yeah, no, that's just...
Not judging! I mean, like, if that's what you're into, go for it. God bless, but, you know.
Yeah, that's completely different meaning.
I know, like canon, it's like, oh, because of this reason, but like it just sounds like Astolfo loves Black Hawk. And if that's the case, you know, good for Astolfo, that's good. I commend that. That's nice.
Most of the fanbase does portray him as bisexual or gay, I'm not sure. But it's a meme that is not really straight. But in the show itself, he is.
I always felt like, you know, like, I grew up in a fucking, like, heteronormative society, and I'm just gonna go on a whim and say that, like, Italy's the same, you know, like, it's, you know, heterosexuality is the norm. I always felt fucking weird about that. It's like, why do people give a fuck about this? Why not just let me do my thing, you know?
I guess it's because it kinda new, depending on where you live. Like, I live in a small town in the middle of nowhere, so sexualities aren't really even thought.
That's gonna reinforce it, definitely.
So yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like, it's like, you know, if somebody's like, hey, I love cock, and I, you know, want to fuck dicks, then it's like, whatever, go for it, I guess. But people are like, no! 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 Stop! This is wrong! And it's like, why? Why? Who gives a shit? It's fine. People make a big deal out of it. They're like, we have to ban sodomy, we have to ban gay marriage, we have to ban even telling people about the existence of gay people. It's like, why do you care?
Yeah, fair enough.
People are fucking obsessed.
Maybe Twitter is becoming real life.
Not even maybe, it definitely is becoming real life. I feel like the internet's gonna become a bigger part of the social interaction than like IRL face-to-face interaction eventually.
Oh yeah, because of the metaverse and all that.
Well, not just that, but I mean, like, I feel like that's like where we're heading, because people feel way more comfortable online talking to each other than they do in person. So what do you do?
Hmm?
Yeah, like, what do you do about it? Like, do you just roll with it, or...?
Honestly, I like to believe these problems will fade away over time. I think the newer generations start to not really care. Maybe it's just me being too optimistic. Not to say that all the generation is evil or anything.
I'll put it this way, like, I'm hoping you're right, and I really want you to be right, but I've looked at a lot of people, and I'm just like, people are way too petty. People are way too petty to just look past superficial shit like this. Even today, like, you see a lot of people, you know, like, they come out as gay or something to their family, and it's like, oh no! Oh! People just can't handle it. And it's like, what's the big deal? They're like, oh no, what about, my grandkids and shit? It's like, well, if you wanted grandkids, you should. What? That's a common one too. I'll just elaborate on that one. So, like, a lot of people, they have kids and they have this fantasy of, like, they're gonna become grandparents, and when their, only child comes out as gay, they're like, oh no, what about my, potential grandkids? It's like, imagine the entitlement. Like, you're gonna give birth to a human being, raise them, and then expect them to give you grandkids because you feel like it. I don't know. People are fucking insane, honestly.
There's actually like a sub-story in the third Yakuza or the fourth, where you meet a character who's male but like finds his identity as a woman.
I think I've actually seen memes of that.
Yeah, probably because it's popular. Kiryu is supposed to be like the perfect man, so of course he gives him words of encouragement and all that.
I think, if I recall correctly, this might be the wrong Yakuza game, but Kiryu, as far as I can recall from the memes, and this is just like assumption on my part, but Kiryu made some statement along the lines of like, oh, I didn't know that. That's interesting. I guess I learned something today, and that was it.
Yeah, that's the kind of guy he is. He always accepts everything.
That's fucking based.
Yeah, he's supposed to be like perfect.
That's like the peak Chad move.
Yeah, so that's what he is.
Yeah, Kiryu is a fucking Chad.
Especially when you actually go and play Yakuza 3, there's going to be quite a lot of character development. It will go away for like the first half of the game, away from the action for a bit, but I feel like it's great because it shows you how he acts outside of all the Yakuza stuff. So it's great. So now you play Yakuza 0, which is when he gets into the Yakuza, or well, several years after he gets into the Yakuza. Then in 3 you see how he quits. Of course, because of plot, he'll always be back somehow. But at least in 3 you actually get to explore a more sensitive side.
Neat.
And then it's just kind of the way Yakuza is, and the story is super serious, but all the side content is just silly.
Yeah. How do you feel about you know how like a lot of people when they see representation in video games or like any media where it's like, hey, here's like a black character, or here's like here's like a gay character or something, and they're like, this is white genocide, like they immediately freak out. It's like there's like a black, like, they see like a trailer for like the new Star Wars film, and there's like a black guy standing in the doorway, like in like some, distant in the background for like 0.2 seconds. And they're like, oh my god, this is white genocide! It's like, how do you feel about that? Because I feel like a lot of people, just like, they exaggerate. It's not a big fucking deal.
For me, it really doesn't matter. The only problem I have with it is connected to another problem, and that's where it doesn't really happen in Japanese media, but in Western media it's like every time a sequel comes out of anything, a game, a movie, anything, you can expect some actors to be replaced. And this isn't really
okay, so like the inconsistency in casting is like the thing that you don't like.
So yeah, it's not really specific,
could see that,
but it's annoying. I find it hard to get attached to a character. So if you're not going to meet someone,
like how,
just do it from the beginning.
There's like a delay, so when I cut you off, I don't mean to. But yeah, so it's kind of like the Dark Knight Rises, where like they replace the actor who played Rachel, and it kind of like throws you off a bit. You're like, wait, okay, this is Rachel now. Okay, yeah, got it, kinda, but it feels a bit odd,
I don't know how the situation is with movies, but with like video games, it happens way too much. You never know.
I have a perfect fucking example. Dead Rising 4. Frank West.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I thought it was the same guy, just with different direction.
I don't like. I'm a huge fucking fan of the first game. I played it when it came out. I still play it to this day. It's incredible. I'd give the game a 10 out of 10. Looking aside from like AI and shit. But when I look at Dead Rising 4, I'm like, this is this is not the same character. He doesn't behave the same. He doesn't look the same. He doesn't sound the same. This is like a separate fucking protagonist.
Yeah, I've seen. I played the first Dead Rising, not the fourth, but I've seen like clips, and yeah, it does act completely different. And it all started.
Dead Rising 1, Frank had like, he had like a, an average Joe kind of personality to him. Where even the people who produced the first game, they said that like in some instances you could look at him and say like he's kind of like an ugly person. He's not like good looking. He's not physically fit. He's just like some dude, some journalist. But at the same time, he has like a humanity to him. So when he sees another person suffering or like dying, it shocks him. But in Dead Rising 4, it's just like he's like totally detached emotionally from any trauma that happens to anybody else. I feel like that's like the main sin of Dead Rising 4, if you feel me.
Yeah, it actually, I was gonna say, it started with another game where they recasted him. Not recasted him, but it was given this same change in direction. And it was like Marvel or whatever.
Oh, you mean like the what was it, like something versus Capcom?
Yeah. I don't remember the full name, but yeah,
that's like non-canon though. Like I can forgive that because that's like whatever. They're making like a fun, silly fighting game. But if you're gonna make like a sequel to the first game and be like, okay, we're gonna like expand on this character's history and develop them. You can't just switch their fucking voice, appearance, mannerisms, personality, and everything that like makes up the character. Because at that point, you just have like a different person.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I haven't played Dead Rising 2, but how is his personality in that game?
Okay, so like Dead Rising 2, Frank makes an appearance in. Okay, so there's like a DLC for Dead Rising 2 called Case West. Which I don't consider canon, but it's basically like Frank West and Chuck Green, the protagonist of Dead Rising 2, they team up and they, infiltrate like a science lab. I don't know, it's meh. Then beyond that, you have, and by the way, like Capcom never expanded on this plotline. But beyond that, you have Dead Rising 2 Off the Record, which is like a spin-off, kind of like self-parody of Dead Rising 2, where Frank West is the protagonist instead of Chuck Green. And he never takes anything seriously, but at the same time, he's voiced by T.J. Rotolo, who voiced, the original Frank West from Dead Rising 1. So it's a bit of like fan service. It's okay, so like the way I put it, like those total conversion mods for like GTA and shit.
Yeah.
It's a bit like that. It's like Capcom made a total conversion mod for Dead Rising 2 with Frank being the protagonist. It's not bad. There's a lot of fun stuff in it, but at the same time, it's non-canon. So it's basically just like a fun side thing.
So, when it comes to Frank's writing specifically, is he still the same guy, kind of?
No, not at all. So, Dead Rising 2, Frank West is basically like an exaggerated characterization of like the original Frank West. But at the same time, he's not unlikable. He's just okay, I guess. Dead Rising 1 Frank West is fucking awesome because like you can actually see the progression in his character. You can see like him changing gradually throughout the story as a lot of things happen to him and the people around him. Like, he still cares about the people around him. He still maintains his humanity. In Dead Rising 2, it feels a bit more like Frank is like how like when you play a video game with a friend and they kind of like commentate on the game and make fun of it while you play it. It's a bit like that. It's like Frank is making fun of the plot of the game and making fun of like the events of it, but at the same time, it's not like all too distracting, but it's bordering on being a bit too much, So I still prefer the first game, but Dead Rising 2 Off the Record, I mean, like it's a good game. I enjoy it. Between like buying the original Dead Rising 2 and buying Off the Record, I would highly suggest buying Off the Record instead, because like there's way more content in that game.
I feel like that's pretty much what everyone says. The first game being the best in the series and the most serious, and the zombies are like more of a side thing, and they're just an excuse to have a serious plot. And then it's just ignored in the later titles, apparently.
You know how, like, I don't know if you've seen this actually, but, you know, Robert Kirkman's The Walking Dead was initially a comic book, and then they made a TV show about it, and then from that on it just exploded into, like, video games and shit. But The Walking Dead, initially it was about, like, you know, the main characters, the survivors, the zombies, as they put it, and, you know, this is verbatim, the zombies were, like, the icing on the cake. They were, like, the theme of it.
Yeah.
The main thing you should focus on are like how these characters interact.
Yeah.
The same thing applies to Dead Rising 1. It's about like a terrorist act and government conspiracy. That's about like what the first game's about. The zombies do play a role in the story and they do affect the events of the game, but for the most part, they're like background scenery. They set the tone.
Yeah, because by the end of the game, you do at the government because all the SWAT team comes in and they want to kill you for some reason.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's basically like a government cover-up, because they realize, like, hey, there are people still alive, let's fucking wipe them out so that they can't say anything about this.
Yeah.
Which is, it's interesting, too, because, like, you know, initially, Dead Rising 1, I might be wrong about this, but I think, like, the original game, it never specified what year the game takes place in. So you can actually, like, see some characters who look like they're, you know, dressed, like, you know, from the 80s or 90s or even 70s. Nobody has, like, oh, I guess, like, there's one character who has a cell phone, but it's never, like, specified, like, the year is 2006.
I mean, I guess it's 2006 because of the camera Frank has.
Yeah, I'm like, you know, the closest thing you can imagine is like, okay, this is 2006, but even so, you would imagine like somebody would be able to contact somebody outside of this town. Like, there has to be one fucking dork in Willamette who has a fucking laptop or a computer who can just like make a blog post or a video, just like, hey, check this out. There's a zombie apocalypse happening in my hometown, but nobody ever does. That always bothered me. But, you know, when you look at a game like Dead Rising 4, where it takes place in, I don't know, like 2016 or whenever the game takes place, it's like, how does this never get reported at this point? Because, like, the first game I could forgive, because I'm like, okay, well, it's kind of ambiguous at times, for the most part, when it takes place. But in Dead Rising 4, it's like, no, this is current time, you know, back in 2016. This is current time. Nobody ever fucking, you know, spills the beans about the zombies. Nobody says any fucking thing about that.
Well, I haven't actually played the game in a little while, so my memory's a bit fuzzy on it.
I would just recommend Dead Rising 1, the best game. Dead Rising 2, it's okay. Dead Rising 3, it's okay, kind of, for the most part. Dead Rising 4, just avoid it like the fucking plague. Don't bother.
Yeah, apparently it was 4, which was the worst because they got rid of a bunch of features or something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you know how like back in the day, I don't know if you remember this, but back in the day, people used to, you know, when like Dead Rising 3 came out, they're like, we have more combo weapons, we have more like this and that. They basically like bragged about how they expanded the mechanics of the second game and the third game, and they're like, we have more content to offer. Dead Rising 4 actually has less combo weapons than Dead Rising 3. Dead Rising 4 also has like way less mechanics than the first game. So overall, it's a way more limiting game with less content to offer. And you know, the thing that as soon as I saw gameplay of Dead Rising 4, the thing that like completely set me off and convinced me that this game sucks ass is the fact that, like, you know, for zombies to hurt you in the first game, they have to like hit you, like, you know, bite you or something. In the fourth game, in Dead Rising 4, they just have to like stand next to you and your health drains automatically.
Yeah, because they made it more arcadey.
Exactly. So I'm like, okay, well, why? Like, you could have easily made them hit me, you could have easily fucking made them bite me, but instead it's like, I just have to like stand next to them and my health magically drains? Fuck that. That's like a shitty fucking bully mod. If like somebody made like a shitty bully zombie mod and they're like, oh, you know, if ped within proximity, whatever, XYZ, and then like, you know, health -1. It's like, no. Just have them actually do something to you before you actually take away the health.
Yeah, definitely not me.
Yeah. Did you actually do that?
I wanted to, but then I scrapped it almost immediately because it was too difficult.
I mean, like, at least, like, you knew well enough to, like, not do that. You're like,
Yeah.
okay, hold on, this is stupid.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
not do this. So, like, what mod were you working on when you did consider doing that?
I wanted to, like, at first, I still have the script, it's terrible, but it doesn't really have anything. But if I recall, the original idea was that it was going to be like free roam, so it wasn't like a linear story. So it had big ambitions. But at first it will start with a tutorial which you could skip.
Right.
And then you will be able to take photos of zombies to get points, so that was a whole system to script, which is possible, but I didn't know how to do it at the time.
Yeah.
And then of course every student within your proximity are just zombies. But
So basically, like, you know, you found issues with getting them to attack the player, and you considered solving that by having them automatically drain the health, like, gradually of the player if they're within a certain proximity of the NPC.
Yeah, to be honest, I scrapped it early, so I didn't really know. But I could have considered that easily. Because I've seen other games do it, where like enemies approach and you drain our god.
I guess, like, the thing that bothers me about that is the fact, like, it totally takes you out of the immersion of the game. Because at that point, you're not even considering the possibility of getting hit or bitten. You're just concerned about being within, you know, proximity of these NPCs instead of, like, physically avoiding them. You're just kind of like, okay, well, I have to be, like, X amount of distance away from them.
Yeah, like I said, it's because they made it more arcadey, so of course the zombies have to hit you, even when they're not actually like hitting you, because it's all fast-paced. You're expected to just kill them as fast as possible.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, they easily managed this in Dead Rising 3.
I actually have no idea what Dead Rising 3 is like. I know it takes place in like an entire city.
Alright, go for it.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I know.
Alright. Well, Dead Rising 3 also, like, it bothered me because the storyline, I feel, sucks ass. It doesn't do anything interesting with it. And the thing that bothers me also about Dead Rising 3 is the fact that the game was marketed as the game returning to, like, its horror roots. Like, this is gonna be, like, a horror kind of game. But at the same time, it's way more silly, it's goofy. Like, there's literally a fucking sequence in the game where, like, one of the bosses, you know, dies and farts. And that's the end of that fucking character.
In farts.
Yeah, or, like, you know, there's, like, a fat lady on a scooter, like, gorging on food at a buffet. And, you know, like, when I heard people talking about Dead Rising 3, and they're like, okay, the psychopaths in this game are going to be inspired by the 7 deadly sins. I'm not even, like, a Christian. I'm an atheist. But I'm like, that's fucking cool. Nice. Go for it. But as soon as I saw, like, half of these characters, I'm like, this sucks. This is fucking boring. Some of this shit is just, like, painful to watch. Not for, like, any genuine, like, you know, grossed out reason. Just because, like, I just find them to be really disappointing.
All I remember about the first game is that the bosses were serious at first. It's just their death sequence that was silly, but the rest was pretty serious.
Yeah, well, even so, I feel like there's, like, a lot of areas of the game that are way too over the top. But I did enjoy the visual tone of the game. The fact that it's, like, darker and grittier, and there's, like, way more detail to it. So, how do you feel about femboys? Like, which would you pick if you could have any femboy ever in existence? Fictional or real life? If you could, like, get with any femboy, who would you pick?
Oh, well, I mean, when I usually say I'm into fanboys, it's like I usually think of the fictional stuff. I haven't really thought about it in real life. I'm just...
Alright, well, let's go with fictional. Like, if you could pick any fictional femboy to be with, who would it be?
Oh, that's an important question. There's a lot of characters that I actually like, to be honest. No, my favorite, I would want him to be with me because he doesn't actually want to be a cross-dresser. And that's the character I have in my Discord profile picture.
Nice.
I don't know. Probably a Stolf, I guess. I'm not sure if it will be into it, because as discussed earlier, it's like he's straight, I think.
Astolfo always wins, no matter what. Doesn't matter who it is, doesn't matter who's, you know, speculating. It's Astolfo's fucking beautiful.
Because usually the joke with fanboy characters in anime is that they don't want to be, but because of the context they are.
Yeah, it's like it's a bit like, you know, it's almost like they identify as a woman, but people are like, oh, you're a femboy, which is kind of fucked up, honestly. But you know, I'm talking about like people who are just like, I'm male and I present kind of feminine, but I'm male. You know, that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, sure, whatever. Actually, I mean, if anything, it's great. It's something different to see.
It is. I feel like that's a good thing. So do you have like any bully mods in the making?
Oh yeah, but I can see.
Right. Do you want to reveal anything?
No, absolutely not.
Shit, damn it. Well, you know, I gave it a shot.
Technically,
so
even though I say it's secret, there's one that you see all the time.
Okay, please don't tell me you're gonna like remake the underwear models of girls in the game like some people did.
Oh no, I don't do modeling. Just scripting. Just do
okay. I'm kidding, but okay. How do you feel about like the old school mods that people used to make, where it's like, you know, replace Arc Race 1, but nowadays you can replace just about fucking anything. People have gotten to the point where like they can easily make, not easily, but you know, they have the ability to make really fucking advanced scripts. But like back in the day, I'm sure you remember, people used to do really basic shit like run arcase1.lur, and then, you know, you get like 2 bodyguards, shit like that.
I was never really, again, as I said, I'm usually the kind of guy that has high standards. So when I make mods, even back then when I couldn't do it, I always planned on having things that were like big. So not something that will like teleport you somewhere and it's like, kill this guy, and then that's it, mission succeed.
Yeah, like Biff's Revenge.
Yeah. I guess that mod tried. I don't remember it.
I mean, like, the thing is, like, I riffed on a lot of mods, but at the same time, I do recognize that they did way more than I ever fucking did. So, to their credit, they actually did something. But I had a lot of fun riffing on that. I know there's, like, a part of my, I think it's, like, the Nerd's Revenge mod or some shit. Where, like, I just tell AlphaTech, I'm like, AlphaTech, we gotta talk. And I remember like that, you know, Mick like basically pissed himself laughing at that. But it's just, it's funny to me, like, you know, looking back all these years later, that it's like, man, we took bully modding so fucking seriously. Like, you had Madman telling people like, don't fucking reveal what, you know, player swap model does, because I'm working on my shit. And then you had like other people fucking arguing over, you know, credit and shit. It became like this insane thing where eventually the community kind of consumed itself and people just moved on.
You know, as a newcomer, because I was like, I joined in something like 2015, I believe. I've always like looked back at the community, and then I've had that full derpy tell me stuff about it. And every time I found myself thinking about how it was, if I ever like made a video discussing it. But in short, all of my expectations joining the bully community, as in modding, were kind of shattered, because I just went with the assumption that because the community was smaller, I guess everyone would be more close, and so everyone would work together, but it was the actual opposite. Like apparently everyone needs to fight over action nodes. It's like, yeah, I can make a character throw a punch. Praise me.
Oh, do you remember like when people used to make these like modding teams? You had like Biblioteca, which I was a part of, and then you had Algae Hunters or whatever. You had all these like different like groups that people joined.
No, I wasn't around back then, I think.
Oh fuck. Alright, well, basically to like summarize, so like bully modding took off, Lua modding became a thing. And as soon as that happened, people formed all of these different like factions, basically.
Oh my.
Where you had a biblioteca, basically like me, Mad, Redman, and then some other people. We were like a team, but we never did anything. You had like LG team or whatever, which like Mick formed with I think him and Unknown Soldier. And he had like all of these different like cliques on the forum. Basically, obsessing over like, yeah, we're a fucking team, and fuck all these other people. And you had to like, if you wanted to like join a modding team, you had to like prove yourself somehow. And it became like this really like pathetic thing where people obsessed over
back then, what
credentials and shit.
Like put Bob in freedom by swapping a few bytes. Yeah, I'm a hacker.
Yeah. It's like, I know how to use like Luwak or Luac, and if you don't know, you're a fucking noob, and I look down on you.
Yeah, I could never like figure out why the community was like that, to be honest.
Here's the thing too, like before Derpy was Derpy, I actually taught her a lot of things about like basic hex editor modding. And we became like good friends after that, because like initially there was like some kind of argument going on the forum. There was like some drama between, I don't remember who, but Derpy and somebody else. And I took her aside and I said like, hey, you gotta fucking like, first off, you gotta like chill out, because between you and me, a lot of admins, I'm no longer an admin, so I don't give a fuck about spilling this, but between you and me, a lot of admins are talking about like kicking you off the forum because you're causing shit. So like, just chill out. And then secondly, I gotta teach you some shit about like modding. This is like when Lua modding was new, but not really taking off. So I taught her a lot of stuff about like, hex editor shit, and also trigger modding. And then like, fucking like a decade later nowadays, I talk to Derpy on Discord, and it's like, holy shit. She knows way more than I do.
Yeah, she's the best
even now. She really is. She's fucking incredible.
She's always helpful to me. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
She always releases her stuff open source.
Thing is too, like occasionally I see people like talking shit about Derpy or being rude to Derpy, like saying like transphobic shit or whatever. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, this is somebody who like really helped a lot of people in this community, and somebody who's very fucking intelligent. I'm not exaggerating at all. Like, this is a person who like knows a lot of shit, who's very fucking observant.
Yeah.
Maybe we like we could learn something from this person. So like, instead of ostracizing them or like talking shit, like for a second, let's fucking listen.
Absolutely, yeah. She's like the kind of person I wish the community was originally. So today we wouldn't find ourselves with a dead community essentially when it comes to modding. Because I believe
I think eventually.
No, go on.
I was just gonna say, like, quickly. I was just gonna say, like, I think eventually we'll get there, but I don't know if when we get there it's gonna be too late. Anyway, sorry, proceed.
Basically, I was saying, I think one of the main reasons why the community is so inactive these days is because of how everyone used to act back then, with keeping everything secret and all that.
So, I beg to differ on that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I'll explain why. So, from what I've seen, this community has always been, not desperate, but it's always been in dire need of somebody to lead the pack. Initially you had a small, tight-knit community of people expecting the game to be... This is, by the way, this is before the game got released, like the original 2006 PS2 release. You had a ton of people on this forum, Bully Board, and various other fan sites talking about the game, speculating, and you had like a structure of admins, moderators, users, and that was it. And then after the game got released, it just kind of like disseminated, but then eventually, in like 2008, when the PC version got released, people were like, oh, we can modify the game now, let's learn about that. And around, that time, 2008 to like 2010, Mad jumped in, Madman.
Yeah.
He took control. He actually convinced the staff that he knew what the fuck he was doing, even though he had no fucking clue in private. But, he convinced the people, like, I know how to run a community. I know how to, like, do all of this technical stuff. And as soon as he gave that impression, people fell in line. And I took notice of this. I noticed this immediately, and I was like, whoa, okay, so if you just convince enough people that you know what you're doing and you know how to lead this community, people just fall in line and follow you. And I used this observation to benefit my own channel, actually. I presented myself as this person who leads the community, and as soon as I did, people fell in line. People started following me, and I surpassed G-Man and Nathan and everybody else. And I kept doing it, and even to this day, like I'm mentioned on the Bully Wikipedia page, like as a credible source. Truth be told, I'm just a fucking fan of the game. Like I'm just some dude talking to developers and voice actors, and that's about it. I'm not, some mega mind fuck who knows all this shit. I'm just like somebody, passing the information that I get forward and passing it to other people and saying like, hey, here's the shit that I heard. But yeah, I think like even nowadays, the community is desperate for somebody to take charge, whether it be me or you or anybody else. Anybody who takes charge and actually, leads, they will become a leader, not just like, by definition, but also they will become like heavily respected. It's going to be me, you, Nathan, anybody else. Maybe like a totally new person, but it's going to happen eventually. It's just like, it's an empty slot waiting for somebody to jump in and take that role.
Well, let's hope the next person might be like the perfect man, like Kiryu.
I hope so. Yeah, Kiryu would be fucking awesome. But the thing that I fear, it's gonna be like some like kind of like alt-light person who doesn't really have a positive message of unity or understanding, but instead they use their fucking position to make as much money as possible and also like ostracize certain people. That may sound paranoid coming from me, but at the same time, I've seen this happen in a lot of communities on the internet, from like various video games and music communities and shit. So it's something that I'm wary of. But yeah, like if I had it my way, I could easily just like jump right the fuck back into like being somewhat of a de facto leader of this community. But right now, I'm not in a place in my life where I'm ready for that. So I'm just gonna get my shit together before I attempt that.
Yeah, okay.
I do enjoy a lot of the shit that I did for the community, though. Like, getting Jerry Rosenthal in touch with the fan base, getting, these different actors to do Q&As, talking to developers, and getting some, insight into the development of Bully.
Yeah, that was great, and those are some of my favorite videos. Every time we managed to come in contact with someone who actually had part in making the game.
Yeah. I want to do more of that. I know, like, a lot of those videos, they don't get a whole lot of views or attention, but looking back at all of the videos that I've made, they don't, actually.
That's a shame.
I know that, I think the Jerry Rosenthal Q&A, it's sitting like at I'm just gonna guess, but last time I checked, based on that, I'm just gonna estimate that it's sitting about like 100k views or some shit like that. I know the Matt Bush Q&A is sitting like at 30k, maybe 40k views. So like they're not popular. They're not close to like the most popular shit that I've done. Like some of the most popular videos that I've done, they're sitting at like 1 million views. So it's like far removed from that, but I really fucking like those videos, and occasionally I'll go back and watch them because it's like, hey, this is actually really interesting. Not just because I made them, but because I'm a huge fan of this game. I love this video game, so like when I look at them, yeah, exactly.
Some of my favorite videos, mine, I think, are the ones that perform the worst. I have no idea why.
Yeah, I feel the same. Occasionally, like, I'll put something out there and I'm like, man, I'm like totally on point in this video and I'm like really entertaining and shit. And then the video gets like 20k views, which is not bad, but it's like, it could be way better.
Yeah, absolutely. It's hard to understand what the community actually wants at times.
Yeah. And occasionally I get comments from people. Sometimes I get comments from people. They're like, why doesn't this video have more views? This is fucking awesome. I'm like, I don't know. Like this is gold. Come on.
Yeah.
But people, they're not interested. They're interested in like, you know, incendiary titles that look really appealing, and like, you know, they click on it. It's fast paced. It just like gets immediately into all the, you know, clickbaity shit that you promised. And it's like, I can't deliver that at all times. Occasionally, I just have to like make something that doesn't have as interesting of a title. But when you click on it, when you give it enough time, you actually learn something.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I need a manager or a producer, like somebody to steer me in the direction of big numbers.
Oh, you're getting big now. You need a manager.
I mean, like I've been an actor for a long time. Yeah, I need like a fucking Rick Rubin kind of producer, but like in video form, you know? Like just like take what he did with System of a Down and then just apply that to me. Like, okay, you gotta do this, and that. I'm like, all right, let's do it, Rick. And then I do, and I just blow the fuck up. I guess like if there's any silver lining to my YouTube career, if you want to call it that, it's that I've had a lot of fun doing it, and if Bully ever gets a sequel, I'm definitely gonna see a huge fucking boost in views, and I'll be good. But you know, that's like on the off chance.
If Bully 2 actually comes out for me, I don't really know. Depends on whether, you know, first of all, I don't know if I like the game to begin with. You know, maybe it comes out and it just isn't like the original, especially now in today's situation with like politics and stuff.
Oh yeah, like. Oh my god. Imagine if like Bully 2 comes out and it just like sucks ass. Yeah. At that point, I don't know, like I guess like I could get, you know, some views out of making rants about it, like, hey, this game sucks. Another video, hey, this game still sucks. Third video, despite the fact that this game sucks, Rockstar hasn't fixed it. But then like, you know, beyond the third video or fourth video, I would just be like, I don't know, like I've expressed my opinion. What else can I do at this point?
You know, there's also the fact that the game came out like 2006, so after 16 years, it's just, it doesn't matter if it's like the perfect game, it's never going to match what we actually want, because it's been so long and we'll be so hyped, and we'll be expecting a kind of game that just can't be the same.
Yeah. Anyway, it's been a lot of fucking fun talking to you. I've been on for about an hour, so I'm gonna take off, but I wish you the best of luck with your stream. I'm gonna tune in.
Oh yeah, sure.
And yeah, it's been no problem. Hey, we should talk more often, because I really fucking like talking to you. But yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime.
All right, take it easy.
All right, bye.
今度会うた時が己の最後じゃ。よう覚えとけ。たく、面倒なのに関わっちまったな。
Okay, so let's see. Let's go to Kiyomi now, and one thing I should point out is earlier, before, it was really hard to do the minigame with Haruto, because normally his gestures can like suggest you what to do, but this anime plushie thing is just too small and it doesn't even move. But it was hilarious.
そっか。飯野くんのやってる草野球チームで今日これから試合があるんだけどね。急にメンバーが足りなくなっちゃって、
Oh, we have to
そ
play
れで
baseball
私
now.
から頼んでほしいって言われちゃったの。
試合の人数合わせってことか。わかった。あんたらには夕べから世話になりっぱなしだしな。
ごめんなさい。なんか恩着せてるようで。
今からすぐにってことか。
うん。球場まで案内するけど、私まだ支度があるから、先にロープウェイ乗り場で待っててくれます？
ロープウェイ乗り場か。
すぐに追いつけると思う。
ああ、 わかった。
Okay, so don't think you'd have to play the baseball game in the story, but as a side minigame, it was one of the grandest to do. I mean, it was fun, but oh boy, that took so long, and at one point I lost like an hour of progress because the game just crashed. So that was not fun.
Kiri-san, ごめんね、お待たせ。
俺も今来たとこだ。
ハルト君のパパ、探さないといけないのにね。邪魔しちゃったみたいで。
いや、草野球の試合なら地元の人間もたくさんいるだろうしな。かえってはるかのことを聞くにも好都合かもしれない。
そう言ってくれると嬉しいけど、なら行きましょう。球場まで案内する。
ああ、頼む。
No, but really, this isn't like bullying, where like if you fail a mission, so be it, you've lost like 10 minutes, so whatever. But here I'm talking like an hour of progress, so just pure grind of a minigame that mostly plays itself.
分かってる。
いいのくん。
So yeah, that was
あんまり桐
frustrating.
生さんに恩着せがましくしないでよ。
All the Yakuza games in general have like extremely grindy minigames.
じゃけど本人が言うとるんじゃけ。キヨちゃんもそがにこいつの肩持つことないんじゃないの？
いいのくんには関係ないでしょ。
冷たいの。おいじゃ、桐生さんはライトの8番じゃ。じゃけどあんまり頑張りすぎんでえわ。わしら気軽に楽しゅう野球するのがモットーじゃけ。
そう？でも相手チームはそういうつもりじゃないみたいよ。見て、桐生さん。
ん？
面白いもんじゃ。のう、よくよく踊れとは縁があるの。
本当に攻めえ町だな、ここは。
キヨちゃん、あんたなんでまたそいつと一緒なんじゃ。
何？別にいいでしょ。
ええわけないじゃろ。なあ、キヨちゃん、わしの気持ちはよう分かっとるはずじゃろうが。そんなうさんくさい男に近づいちゃいかんど。わしの身にもなってくれや。
ああ、気色悪い声出すな、ナグモ。キヨちゃんはお前なんぞ興味ないんで。
外野はすっこんどれや、バカだれ。踊れも英気になっとるんじゃなあと。もうあの店には出入り禁止じゃ。踊れ、今度キヨちゃんの店に近づいたら命はないと思えや。
勝手なことばっかり。
そろそろ試合じゃねえのか。あんたらのベンチはあっちだ。
Really wish they would invest a bit more into these scenes. The characters are basically just standing.
おう、今日の試合は荒れそうじゃのう。
あんた、前に投げ元なんかあったんか？
いや、ちょっとした因縁でな。それより、あいつらとはよく試合するのか。相手はヤクザだろ。
ヤクザは今おった広瀬一家の3人だけじゃ。あとのメンバーは仇じゃけ。それにな、ナグモもあれで野球にだけは真面目じゃ。なんかあってもわしが守っちゃるけ。あんたもあのバカタレは気にせんでええど。
Okay, now there's actually going to be a really fun
野
scene.
球に関しちゃ真面目なんじゃなかったのか。
あの人、全員デッドボールにする気みたい。
カモン。どうした。はよう かかってこんか。いいのこれ。乱闘じゃろが。なんじゃ腰抜けが。威勢が良かったんはガキンコロだけか。おい踊れ。それでも金玉ついとるか。
松永の兄貴、次のバッターあの桐生っておっさんす。
ああ、じゃけど頭は何ムキになっとんじゃ。野球までむちゃくちゃしょったらあの人のええとこなんもなくなるで。
さあどうでもいいですよ。今日は頭乱闘しねえと収まらないみたいだし、ならとっとと終わらせて帰りましょう。
ほうじゃな。
大丈夫桐生さん。
南雲が狙ってんのは俺だ。もう少し俺の打順が早けりゃ他の連中に痛い思いさせずに済んだかもな。
Always finding a way to blame himself. Okay, watch this.
今日はよう指が滑りよるけ。わしも自分の球がどこに向かうか責任が持てんのじゃ。悪気はないんで。顔面と真ん中にぶち込んだろ。見とれよ腐れけどが。死ねえ。
That's that's amazing.
確かに今日は指がよく滑るな。俺も自分のバットがどこに飛ぶか責任が持てねえ。
ほうか。
始めますか、松永の兄貴。
Okay, now we actually play baseball with our own rules and without actually doing baseball.
おいおい、まずいでこりゃ。
お遊びはここまでじゃの。よっしゃ喧嘩じゃ喧嘩。
The damage. Now that's a lot of damage. Okay, this is overkill. I'll always fight him so much.
すごい。
マジか、あのおっさん。
試合終了だ、南雲。
踊れ。こんかばつたれが勝手に終わらすんな。
お疲れさん、後で合流するわ。
悪かったな。せっかくのお楽しみを台無しにしちまって。
いやあ、ええんじゃ。桐生さんのせいじゃないですけ。じゃけどあんた、ええ腕っぷしじゃのう。ヤクザ相手に完封勝ちじゃ。 南雲のバカタレにゃええ薬になったじゃろ。
そうそう。悪いのは南雲くん。野球にだけは真面目だったのに見損なった。もううちには出入り禁止にするかな。
おお、それがええわ、キヨちゃん。南雲にはもう一杯も酒飲ませたらいけんよ。
Biggest lie ever told.
ところで飯野くん、さっきの話だけど。
おお、そうじゃ。桐生さん、さっき預かっとったこの写真じゃがの。うちのチームの連中はやっぱりこの子を見たことないっちゅうとる。
そうか。わかった。手間は取らせたな。
この後チームで打ち上げなんじゃ。桐生さんもキヨちゃんも一緒に来んか。
いや、遠慮しとく。俺にはやることがあるんでな。この子の父親を探さなきゃならない。
それなら私も遠慮してく。
ほうか。じゃあアパートのことで何かあったら気軽に言うてくれや、桐生さん。もうあんたはわしらの仲間じゃ。キヨちゃんに手出さん限りはの。
ああ、わかってる。
ほいじゃ。
はるかちゃんの手がかり見つからなかったですね。
ああ、こうなると本当にはるかがこの町にいたのかも怪しくなってきたな。
え？
ここはそんなに広い町じゃない。その割にはるかの顔を知ってる人間にまだ一人も会えてね。あいつはこの町を素通りしただけでそんなに長い時間はいなかったのかもしれない。もしそうならハルトの父親がここで見つかるとは思えない
桐生さん。
な。アパートに帰るよ。服も着替えたい。
あ、ならその後またうちのお店に来て。
ん？
一汗かいてお腹空いたでしょ。今日の埋め合わせにごちそうする。
そんな気使う必要はないぞ。
いいから。ハルト君のお世話もしたいし。
わかった。
But I
Yeah,
bought the
but-
plushie myself. Okay, let's see. How long have we been streaming for? Oh, 1 hour and about 50 minutes. I guess we can play a bit more. Can I? Alright. Hold on. Oh, you can take pictures without it. And you can? Ah. Missed opportunity. I wonder if we would be able to max out hit gauge by the time the story is over. It's just that some of the, let's see, whatever these are called, technique. The technique points are so hard to come by. Oh wait, this is the wrong way. Yeah.
いらっしゃい。どうぞ。
ああ。 店はいつも空いてるんだな。
I was going to say that.
耳の痛いこと言うな。うちだけじゃないです。ここのスナック街はもう火が消えちゃってて、昔と違って若い人はみんなよその町のキャバクラとかに行っちゃうの。
やっぱり今日の感情は払わせてもらうよ。
ごちそうするって言ったんだから恥かかせないで。うちにだって常連さんはいるし、女一人ちゃんと食べていけてるんだから。
この店はずっと一人でやってるのか？
まあそうかな。それよりまずは乾杯ね。
ああ。
ねえ、大丈夫ですか？例のやつ、そろそろ時間なんじゃ。
いや、まだいいだろう。俺がこいつをゆっくり味わってからだ。
Prioritizing a drink over a baby. Hmm. Out of context.
おう、表出や桐生。
いい加減にしやがれ。俺にはもう時間がねえんだ。
なんなら
遊び相手なら他のやつを当たれ。お前と違って俺は忙しい。
Okay, time for some serious plot.
おう、ナグモ探しとったで。
Oh my god.
びっくりだぜ。
Every time the camera faces out with this silly mod. I want more.
え？
邪魔するで。
なんなんです？
わしゃ舛添組じゃ。南雲の面倒を見とりますがの。わしは組長の舛添いうもんですが。ちーとママに話があるんじゃ。
私に？
おう、込み入った話ですけ。そちらのお客さんは外してもらえませんかの。
The absolute
帰れ
chad.
言うとるんじゃ。
あんたに指図される覚えはね。俺はただの客だ。気にしないで続けてくれ。
ほう。じゃったら構わんが、後で吠え面かかんこっちゃ。キヨちゃん、すまん。なるほどのう。評判通りの美人ママじゃ。我がこの店でみかじめとらんのもうなずけるのう、ナグモ。じゃが広瀬一家からうちへの上納金が遅れとるんはどういうわけじゃ。舛添の親分、わしゃの陽明連合会直系に名を連ねる舛添組を背負っとるんで、踊れら四次団体のボンクラどもまでいちいち上納金催促せないかんのんか。踊れらがきっちりみかじめとらんけ、金が遅れとるんじゃろうが。上納金は今うちの親父が伏せってますけ。もうちいと待ってつかさい。じゃったらやることやれ言うとるんじゃ。
No! You made Naruto cry.
みかじめなら払えます。
ママ、
いいの、よその人は構わないで。この町の問題なんだから。
じゃ、キヨちゃん。これは受け取れんよ。これ受け取ったら、わしゃもう客としてこの店に来られんようになる。何しとるんじゃ、ナグモ。踊れ。わしらに恥かかせるんか。おう。マス添の親分。わしらにはわしらのやり方がありますき。この町の仕切りは広瀬一家に任せて使うさい。へえ、そこまで惚れとるっちゅうんか。ほうか。そんじゃったら我も腹くくっとるんじゃろうな。邪魔したのう。今度は客として飲みに寄らしてもらいますわ。ほんますまんな、キヨちゃん。ナグモ、はよ来いや。我はこれから音を見せるんじゃろうが。
ごめんね、ハルト君。怖かったね。
少し外の空気を吸ってくる。
え？
すぐに戻る。
Okay, let's go see Nagumo. Wait, this is the wrong one. You'd think I would have memorized the map by now, but no. Okay. Yeah, this way.
キリュウさん。
いいのさんか。南雲を見なかったか。
見たで。そのことじゃ。さっき南雲がヤクザどもに引きずられちょっての。わしも今広瀬一家に助け呼びに行くとこなんじゃ。ほんまのバカだれ。弱いのにヤクザなんとなるけ小がなことになるんじゃ。
どの辺で見た？どこへ向かってた？
丘の上に向かっとるようじゃった。あ、じゃよ、キリュウさんはいかんで。南雲のことは広瀬一家に任せるんじゃ。ええの？
そこまで待ってる余裕はね。
いくらあんたが強い言うても、これ以上ヤクザに首突っ込んだらいけん。相手は南雲より格上の極道じゃ。しかも4、5人はおったんで。
分かってる。それより丘の上ってのは？
ロープウェイで登った先じゃ。おいじゃが夜はもう動いとらんけ。この時間じゃったら歩いて山道を上がっていくしかないで。
ってことはつまり山の上を目指せばいいってことか。
わしゃとにかく助けを呼んでみるけ。悪いことは言わん。あんたここで待っとけな。
Oh wait. Still the wrong way. Okay, see you.
あれ、桐生さん。お前は。そうです。
Outside content. We're going to skip. Yeah.
ジェット式言うんじゃ。昔中国で裏切り者に取らせとったポーズじゃけ。踊れにようお似合いじゃ。
Why isn't this scene motion captured? Or like cinematic?
南雲。
なんならお前、さっきスナックにおったやつじゃの。桐生、わざわざ小川な場所までわしら会うてきたんか。我なぐものなんじゃ。おう。
俺はそいつの喧嘩仲間だよ。
喧嘩仲間。引っ込んどれや、キリュウ。国道の世界に首突っ込むな、バカだれ。
He doesn't
国
know.
道だろうがなんだろうが、こっちは赤ん坊を流されてるんだな。お前らには一言詫び入れてもらわねえとこっちが収まらね
Yeah, true.
酔っとるんか、おさん。わしらに喧嘩売っとるんじゃったら買うてやってもええがの。命の保証はせんど。
喧嘩を売ってんじゃねえ。お前らが詫びを入れりゃ許してやると言ってるだけだ。
何のつもりじゃ、キリュウ。麻酔組相手にそが穴までしてただじゃ済まんど。
お前が俺の心配をするのか。
バカだれ。誰が我のことなんか。じゃがの、我が殺されたりしたらの、キヨちゃんが泣きよるんじゃ。
やっぱりお前はいい男だ。
おお、ええ加減にせんか。いつまで二人でやっとるんじゃ。おもろいおっさんじゃけ。命までは勘弁しちゃる。お前らも適当に相手したれ。ちーと痛い目見りゃ酔いも覚めるじゃろ。一応言うておきますがの、あんならちーとただの仇とは違いますけどね。
Oh, so now he's defending us.
行くぞ。悪く思うなよ。
Oh no, that was so hard.
ほんまにやりよった。
Legend difficulty, everyone.
相手は麻酔組の極道が5人もおったんで。わりゃなんちゅう男じゃ。
立てるか南雲。
桐生さんよ、あんたはなんでわしなんかを助けたんじゃ。
男ってのは惚れた女の前じゃカッコつけたいもんだよな。男なら誰だってそうだ。その女の前では絶対に弱さは見せられねえ。強い自分であり続けたいと願う。だがそのために命まで張れる男はそうはいない。さっきお前は絶対に逆らえないはずのものに対してさえ男の覚悟を曲げずに貫いた。そんな男黙って見殺しにできるわけがねえ。俺があんたを助けた理由はそれだけだ。
負けじゃ。完全にわしの負けじゃ。あんたにじゃったらキヨちゃん取られてもわしは納得するわ。潔よ、身を引けるわい。
安心しろ。俺と彼女はそんな仲じゃね
え。じゃけどあんたみたいな男がそばにおったらどうせキヨちゃんはもうわしに惚れてくれんじゃろ。そういうことですけ。わしゃ決めたわ。
決めた？
桐生の兄貴、どうかこれからわしに兄貴と呼ばせてください。
いや、おいちょっと待て。
待たんです。わしは兄貴についていきますけ。どうかよろしく頼みます。
おい話せ。
いえ、話さんですね。桐生の兄貴、わしらこれから兄弟ですけ。杯しましょう。あ、いや、なんなら杯はええです。ただ兄貴と呼ばせてもらえりゃそれでええですけ。頼みます兄貴。兄貴頼みます。わしゃ兄貴に惚れたんじゃ。もうキヨちゃんには思いの届かんわしですけ。
Kiryu doesn't want to do this because it's embarrassing. He doesn't want to do it because every time someone calls him Aniki,
勝手にし
they
ろ。
probably end up dying.
兄貴。
Okay, I guess we'll end the stream here. We played enough, so we'll just go on and save. And yeah, I guess that's it for today. Special thanks to SWEGTA for joining in. Please visit, and see you guys in the next stream.